gardening. Well, hello and welcome to September in A Year Gardening, following my exploits in the garden through the year of 2020. Now, I've been right the way through this hedge and I've checked all of the nests that are in there, and I was quite surprised by how many there are, but they're all clear, all have fledged, and now it's time to give this its deep annual cut. The bottom I'm really clearing right the way back. I have been building a small wooden fence along the bottom half of this over the past year. Bits of old pallet, bits of old fencing as I get it, scraps of wood, and building the fence along. I've only got around about 3 or 4 metres left to go. Get that finished, stained down, and that's going to be nice, and then I can just keep trimming the top back. I'm going to be taking a good ½ a metre out of the top of this hedge, because as I got a little bit older, it's just not very easy to do. So I'm going to be doing that today. There are also quite a few other jobs to do in the garden, and I've got to prepare now for maybe 2 or 3 more cuts. We're slowing down on the cutting of the lawn now, and we're doing our autumn repairs to the grass. So I'll take you through what I'm doing on the grass to bring that into a nice condition to overwinter. So quite a few things to do. So without any further ado, I'm going to get on with cutting this. Well, you may have spotted that the hedge behind this area here is very much in a dead state, and it's dead for about another 8 or 10 feet along the back here. So I've got a bit of salvaged feather edge here which I've put together and covered that bit with, which will then join in with the rest of the fence going down the garden. So this will be stained to match in with the rest of the fencing. Obviously, where this darker paint is here, it will be a little bit darker for a couple of years, but it will all come back together rather nicely. So all I can say is I've now got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 metres more of this hedge to cut down. I've got to clean the top back down, but when I first came here, this hedge was at the top of this post. It was massive. There was about ½ a metre of the top of that post clear. I've now got 1.5 metres, and I'm aiming to get that down to around about this level over the next year or so, so it's nice and easy to maintain, and also so I can fly my Crystal Palace flag, my England flag, from the top of this pole. Won't that be nice? Well, over the course of this summer, this grass has taken a real bashing with all of the construction work and the rebuilding that I've been doing in the garden. And so this is a really bad patch of the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some repair down on this and reseed this area. But first of all, I've got to do the preparation, and I'm going to be just raking out all of the dead material, cleaning that back, exposing some soil. In the barrow here, I've got some seed and cutting compost, and I'm going to mix some grass seed in with that and then just start to repair these areas. So let's get on with that now. When you are repairing the grass, it's so important to get all of this dead stuff out of the way, and you'll be surprised how much there is. Clearing all of this is going to allow contact with the soil. I mean, some of this will naturally grow back, but we're just going to give it a hand. Got to take all of this off of here. That's just the first bit. Get the other rake on it now. Now with the ordinary rake, I'm just going to really get in here. Give this a good old clean down. Try and expose just a little bit more of the soil here. Lovely. The more of this dead stuff I get out of the way, the better it is to give us the preparation that we're going to need. And that's, as I say, it's really surprising the amount you can take off of here. That's going to be good enough for what I need to do. Well, I've got my seed here, and all I'm going to do is just really sprinkle this. It's got a little sprinkler here. I'm going to sprinkle this into this compost and keep mixing it. And so I'm actually overseeding this because some of this is a lawn feed as well that's mixed into this little container, and we can keep going in here, keep mixing it all up. And basically I will put the whole box in here. It's nicely spread out. Here we get a lot in here. So it's got seed, it's got feed, and it's got some soil here as well. And this will be enough to do the patches that I've got in the garden. I've got to keep just mixing as I go so I get a good distribution of the seed throughout all the compost. Well, there we have our mix, and so I'm just going to start now. Just move up here, and I'm just going to take it a handful at a time and work that down into the ground here. Because it's got some compost mixed in with the seed, it's going to give it a nice bed. Now when I water this, I'm actually going to bed it down into the ground so we don't have any raised areas, but I'm also tamping it as I go. And I'm going to bring this right the way down here. And this will be as good a bit of grass in about 14 days as the rest of it. Most important thing is not to cut it for a while, to allow the grass to take some good roots. This will be absolutely terrific when it's done. Just be nice for having our late summer picnics on in the garden. Now I'll keep doing this all the way down this section here. Now I've got another section of the garden to do over there as well, but I've probably only done enough for this section at the moment. We'll get this all looking nice, and hopefully we'll have the grass up here. I can't see any reason why not. Well, that's this section all down, and now we're just going to give it a nice water in. Got it all stamped down using the old size 10s, so it's nice and level with the ground. Just going to give it a nice water now. As I said before, I think it was last week, you know, now we've got shorter days, germination is not so quick. However, this will only be a couple of weeks, I'm sure, and we'll see grass here. Unless, of course, the dicky birds come and eat all the seeds, which is not something I really want. Well, it's hard to believe it, but it's 4 months now since we dug up the daffodil bulbs from the side border and we put them into storage for the summer. And now it's time to put them back into the ground. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with those now. Well, here are my daffodil bulbs, and they have been sitting here. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're in lovely condition and they're ready to go into the ground. And the way that I put them into the ground to get a nice display is just by taking a handful and throwing them. And I'll throw them onto the ground, and wherever they land is where they get planted. And there is around about 150 bulbs here, so they're going into the ground where they stop. And I'm sure they're going to give me a lovely spring display next year. So we've only got a few more to go. Get those over the far side there. Get some more up that end there. This is going to be nice. Get some there, and some over there. And there's the last few there. What I'll do now is I'll get my bulb planter. Now, when we're planting our daffodils, what we're looking for is to have the same depth of soil above the bulb as the depth of the bulb. So if this is 2 inches, we want 2 inches of soil above it. And all I do is I use a bulb planter, just twist into the soil, get a nice lift. And these wonderful little tools, they hold the soil inside. I can then pop the bulb nicely down inside, squeeze the handle, and then that just fills the hole above it. And I've counted out roughly 180 of these bulbs to put in, which is going to be very, very interesting and quite time consuming. But it'll look great next spring. Well, I think that was an hour or so well spent. The daffodils are now in the ground. Little tip for you: when you're planting your spring bulbs, pointy side up, hairy side down. They don't like being planted upside down. Got those all in the ground now, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of display they bring me next spring. So, done quite a bit today. I think it's time I went out the back and just summed up today's show. Well, that brings me to the end of another episode in A Year Gardening, and everything is really, really taking shape nicely. Now, I'm very, very pleased with the hedge and the way that is looking now, but I only ever do that one big cut every year. I'll do a little bit of a trim every now and then just to tidy it, but the one big cut. The memory garden now, the sweet peas have given me some more flowers. I thought just cutting off those seed heads a week or so ago would work. We've got the grass seed down on the patches, and we've planted the first of our summer bulbs. I am going to do something for next year which I haven't done before, and I'm going to plant up some pots with some tulips in. And I've got 100 tulip bulbs coming, and I'm going to plant those into pots to give me some colour just after the tulips finish. So all in all, everything is moving forward, and I'm planning more for next year now than I am for this year. Still got a lot to finish off, but things are really taking shape, and I'm so happy with this garden. And this year, although we're now 9 months through the year, it has been a very strange year. And if we'd predicted what this year was going to be like before it started, I don't think anyone would have won a penny. But hey ho, that's the way the cookie crumbles. We are just living with the way things have changed now. And when I'm going to the garden centre and doing some shopping, and I'm wearing my face covering and all these bits and pieces, it's just an unusual situation, and I'm sure you feel the same. But we will come through the end of this, and we'll come out smiling, and I will be having a party next year, and it will be great, and it will be sunny, and we'll have our friends and our family around us. So it just leaves me to say thank you very much for joining me once again, and your company through this year in the garden has been so much appreciated. It's so lovely to, as I say, receive your comments, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. I just know that you're out there, and sometimes enjoying it, sometimes thinking, you could have done that another way. Well, we're all learning together. So I'm going to just take a little glass of this now. This is a Story Point Pinot Noir from Sonoma County, California. Haven't tried it before, but I think I'm going to try it now. As you know, I only have a very small glass of wine because the doctor said I should only have 1 glass of wine a week. So this is it. So I'll wish you very well. Stay safe, look after yourself, be kind to each other, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.